kindergarten to grade 12. We look after post-secondary education, training, the next step in education. So a lot of times we're known for OSAP, 30% off tuition. We do a lot of different things in the ministry. One of the main items is Employment Ontario. That's kind of, we have different centers all throughout Ontario which help with job seekers, students, employers to kind of connect jobs with the skills to fill those jobs. We also do labor market analysis and planning. We're in the post-secondary side. We're in the post-secondary branch. Our main focus is policy. Well, not so much in our branch, but within our branch. Policy, development. We also do degree granting authority. We distribute funds, and we hold or we monitor performance of the sector, so publicly funded institutions as well as private career colleges, universities, colleges, and that kind of thing. So in our branch, one thing that we're responsible for is key performance indicators and just general performance measurement overall. So overall. And in addition to collecting information from the colleges, universities, and different post-secondary institutions, we also report the performance to the public. And for the colleges side, this is one of the main tools we have, which is the employment profile. We also have postings on our website, links to the websites of each different college. Colleges are required to post their KPIs on their websites. That's graduation rate, OSAP default rate, and employment rate are required to be posted on their website at the program level.
So you're saying employment rate, you mean post-graduating, what percentage of any job? That's what you're talking about?
For the graduate outcomes that we show here, everything is 6 months after graduation.
Okay.
I should clarify that, thanks.
Because that's one thing I find hard is you go to these college, when they come to the fairs, and they're saying, like 90% of our students are getting hired or whatever, and I'm just wondering where those stats come from sometimes.
Probably from the data that Stephanie's showing,
yeah.
we have more nuanced.
Okay.
We never have some different levels, and you'll be seeing, we have quite a bit of data that we collect, especially on the colleges side. We present a fair amount of it, but we have a lot of data that we share with the colleges. They have a data sharing agreement with OCAS and with us that they can have the full raw data. So this is the employment profile. It's a website. Prior to this, the employment profile was launched in 2012. Prior to this, the employment profile was this yellow book. We have an English version, we have a French version. I'll leave them here if you guys want to take a look at them. We no longer create these books. These were distributed to kind of guidance counselors, different stakeholders, so that they could use those in order to do the same thing that this is doing, or that this, I think, is doing probably better than that could at the time. It's been around for quite a while. I think the first version we have at the office is like 89 or something like that.
I don't even think that's the first.
Yes. It's been around for a very long time. So this is what it is now since 2012. We've just launched our 4th edition this month. It has the most recent year of data that we have for 13-14 graduates. This is a college-focused tool. And what we thought we were going to do today, just to kind of a theme to go with, because sports have been so relevant right now, the Blue Jays winning the last one, the big one that they had this past week, with hockey starting and that kind of thing. I'm going to say that I'm a student who's very interested in sports. I'm a high school student. I'm looking to kind of advance my career or see what I want to study, what I'm passionate about, what do I want to work in the future, what do I need to get there, what options do I have, that kind of thing. So I'm going to go to the employment profile because I think college might be a good place for me. Maybe I'm going to see here and find out that I'm not interested, but I'm going to start here. So this is the employment profile. I'm going to scroll down the page. We're going to get to our search tool. So this is the first step in what we're going to find to see what kind of programs are available to me based on my interests. So you see we have 4 different tabs: programs, grants took, jobs, grants found, industry where grants worked, and grants by subject. And those are different ways that you can search programs. It looks like now that our basket is full, so I don't really set it. So programs, grants found, you have this keyword search. Since I'm interested in sports, I think the first thing I want to look at is just the word sports. to get started off. So when I search sports, these different programs come up, and something I want to point out about them is if you look at the side, they each have just a small abbreviation. Those are telling you what kind of credential that program is. So OCGC, if you hover over what Marion is doing, you can see them show you the typical program duration as well as the credential. So that's an Ontario College Graduate Certificate. That's a college diploma. There is an advanced diploma. Colleges also have applied degrees. So it kind of helps out to see how long that program is and what you're going to get out of it at the end if you were to take it.
And a certificate, I just realized we never chose a program certificate.
Oh, we never chose one? Oh.
Not in this one.
No, this is like, but there's different options and they're all outlined from the very beginning, so I find that very useful if you're kind of thinking maybe I will want to take one of your program.
So do you find that the kids, like, you know how they take careers in high school now, which I think is wonderful. Do you find that a lot of them then, when they are thinking this is a possibility or their vision for their future, do you think that they then would use that careers profile that they put together?
It would definitely be nice. I think we don't have too much of a connection to high schools. Unfortunately, we have had students test our product, and we do go to these kind of events to kind of promote them a little bit. It's hard because it's not our ministry, so it's not our overview. However, you know, there's a really big connection, obviously, between high school students to college, universities. A big connection.
Yeah, because, you know.
You know, that raises an interesting point. I wonder how we would join with that.
How we would,
How we would join the data.
Because you need to do that, right? Like, I mean, it's fine to, like, you know, they don't come to this decision, you know, they graduate grade 12 and I'm going to do this. And they have to start planning for this in grade 11.
You'll see some of the links that we do make, but, so what are they keeping track of? Like, keeping track of their courses? Just the courses?
Well, in the career planning, they did like sort of like a profile, they fill out a questionnaire, and it identifies strengths for them. And so that's now focusing them then on, okay, post, when I graduate in high school, this has been identified as an area that I would be interested in.
Stephanie, when we get to the links to Ontario Job Futures, let's have a look at the skills passport and see if you can tell us where that might go.
Yeah.
Because that feels like the right feeling.
I think we're getting to those if not guidance counselors, but the teachers of these careers programs are kind of going to this kind of tool and saying, you know, try this out. Is it part of their teaching? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's in their career program. Like, I mean, they learn resume, they learn handshakes, they learn interview skills, but they also have them do a profile on themselves. And like, I think they did that in grade 10. So now grade 11, I have a kid that, you know, I know that coming next year, I've got to be applying to these universities September, hitting the ground running. So that's why I don't want to just start with this, thinking university. I've got to start thinking about this website in grade 11.
Well, if it's any help, we actually advertise through the Ontario Student Councillors Association, OSCA, who do know about this, and they would be one of our prime stakeholders.
And maybe if the career people, though, this would be a key website to bring to their attention. I don't know if the career, that's part of the career.
Yeah, it's just a matter of really getting it to them, right? Because there's different at every school, but there's a lot of differences of
Well, we can actually talk about doing a module as part of the curriculum.
Because I know this career is mandatory, right? All the kids have to
Exactly.
take
We had
it.
talked about doing a module for the actual curriculum, and they had just revised the curriculum. We just missed the window. So
That's why I think it's slipped us in those potential.
I think when we on a 5-year refresh with the curriculum, that's actually
something to look into.
Yeah. Sorry,
The more resources we have, it's better, and
the better link there.
And we're recognizing that we have to do this earlier than later.
We do get a lot of questions. I know the site was offline for a little while. I got a lot of correspondence from the parents come to the school. Why isn't the website working? I need to show my students this.
That's a hurt.
Yeah. So it's definitely used. Definitely, if we can find other ways of really promoting it, that would be very useful for students. So I guess back to our demonstration, we have some programs here. Let's try sports marketing. So to collect it, we're going to check it off, and you can see right here it's gone into our basket. So that's one of the programs that we're going to be comparing. Another thing we could do, let's search television. Let's see what programs come up. Television, I'm thinking because sports are televised and all that kind of thing. So let's do a broadcasting television program, kind of to our basket. So it's there. Let's try out the Jobs Grads Found tab. The way that this is powered is using NOC, which is the National Occupational Classification Code. The most simple way to say it is based on the survey that we did. If we select a program, or if we select a job area here, we're going to see what programs, graduates from those programs ended up in those jobs. It never sounds simple when I explain it that way. So I'll just show you and maybe it'll make more sense. So let's...
Reverse engineering.
Yes, reverse engineering. So let's search fitness.
Yes, ma'am.
So...
Oh, because what I thought was going to happen is once you pick the thing in program 1 and we ticked it off, then when I went to Jobs Grads Took, I thought that would carry over and it would only come up with those fields that were, you know what I mean, like...
This is
No,
the search.
this is just the search. Entirely this page, even these tabs are all searching for programs to select.
Okay.
So now that we found fitness, looking for a job and a program, we're going to click on here. It's going to bring us to the second step, which is showing you which programs people who ended up in those jobs ended up having. And if you see the percentages here, that's what percentage of those grads ended up in those programs. So for fitness management, 54% ended up in the program that would be classified as program leaders, instructors, recreations, or net fitness.
Okay.
So does that help? No?
No, all right. I'm just trying to distinguish the difference between the two tabs. So one was, all right, so in one when I said my search was sports, and it came up with those things, and I ticked off my couple of
Oh, okay. Those were just absolute keywords. There's no
okay.
data behind
And that
those
just,
separate
and all that
keywords.
was providing me with was letting me know it was a 1-year program, a 3-year program. Now this Jobs Grads Found, once again, like you couldn't put sports in there, you couldn't do the same keywords.
You could put sports in there. You might not get anything. Jobs Grads Found, the keywords you're putting in is what kind of job you want. Whereas Programs Grads Took, let's say I wanted to go to an interior design program. For Programs Grads Took, I might put design, interior design, and we'll put color, coordinate.
All right,
Another way to say it is that you get many different ways of approaching finding the program you want. This one is actually, the Programs Grads Took is actually searching by the name of the program. The Jobs Grads Found, as Stephanie is always difficult to explain, is I know what occupation I want to have, what programs will get me to that occupation.
Based on what programs have gotten other graduates to that occupation.
Okay. I just wish they were more, like it was more like cross-link, you know what I mean?
What are you looking for?
I was just looking for, like I said, so like if you said your area of interest was sports. So you put sports in the programs and it came up with those degrees. Now, I would like to have, once I ticked off the 2 degrees I was looking, I would like to see what jobs found, jobs grads found based on those 2 degrees.
You will see that, but this is just the search.
This is a search. That's a data element. This is like that you're talking about a report. We have it.
Okay.
But it's
I just thought it
not
was pre-fill and carry forward, like, you know, once I identified the programs grads took, and I put sports, did my search, did my degrees, I just presumed that I would see with those degrees, and
let's
that
pop
would
it.
pre-fill.
Okay, we'll do it really quickly.
No, it's okay, no, it's okay.
We'll do it, because compare programs.
We have
We have two.
a small group, we can do these kind of things.
So compare programs.
So you have the 2 selected, and maybe you want to find out what jobs grads from those programs had. Top occupations. Here you
This is
have
what
the
you-
same thing, percentage of jobs, and these are again NOC codes, so National Occupational Classification. Is that a StatsCan system? Yeah. So the codes are generated by StatsCan based on the different, not industries, different jobs. In addition to this, what we'll show you is we have the same kind of reverse engineering search and data element for industries.
So based on that too, like broadcasting television, so 43% of people found jobs, does that mean 57% didn't?
I'm not sure. Like for this one
You
here,
could do
35.
some in them.
Yeah, I was just curious.
No, because it could be, we don't show anything less than 3%.
Oh, okay, that's, all right,
This is just,
okay,
This is the top
Yeah.
5.
all right. No problem.
so 10% of graduates in this program ended up in audio and video recording technicians.
All right, so that's the top jobs, okay.
And then it's again the same thing with the industries grads
Okay.
found, so it's just a different classification system.
The utility listing also shows like how focused, where the main destinations are. So some professions which are highly focused will have like 80% go to that particular profession,
Okay.
right? Like nursing.
Yeah.
You probably don't work, if you spend 4 years getting to be a nurse, you probably are working in nursing.
Okay.
Or something very
All right,
like
that
that.
makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the search page. So we have our 2 programs. We'll go back to jobs grads found just to, I think we were searching fitness. Yeah. So you don't even have to do the keyword search if you don't want to. Maybe you want to go through what's already there. You just have some different items you know. So 54% of grads to fitness management. We'll try that one out. We'll add it to our cart. There it is. Let's go to industries for grads and work. Again, the same kind of engineering.
Okay.
It's using NAICS, which is the national, is it North American classification, industry classification system code. That's what it's being taken from. The word we're going to search now, just because it's broadcasting.
Broadcast?
Broadcasting. And that's the industry we want to look at. Here are some programs that, there's some programs that grads join the government into that industry, and let's choose sports journalism at 44%. And last search method we have to select programs is browse by subject. So we categorize our programs in 4 different areas: applied arts, business, health, technology. If we don't have any health programs right now, so let's select health. We'll do health miscellaneous. And there's all these different programs we can find. And we'll try sports conditioning. It's a college diploma. So now we have 5 programs. If you were to select any other program, you can go ahead. So you can only select 5 at a time, and then allows you to prepare those 5 programs at a time. So once the back is full, you can either take one out if you want to switch it, or go with what you have, and then maybe later narrow them down.
So depending, like, you know, they search and they don't have the keyword, they can try another method. And it will
But you have all these different methods to
Okay.
kind of get to, and sometimes that's what you have to do just because the keywords are,
Yeah, they're not,
you know, like any kind of search function. So let's go ahead and compare these programs. So we're going to get to our data page. The first thing I want to point out is that is this legend here. So you have the 5 programs we selected, but we also have this 6th item here, which we have as default all colleges, all programs. We also have the show hide function, so while you're looking at the data, if you feel like it's too congested, you can kind of take some things away just to quickly see what it looks like. But going back to this all colleges, all programs link, I'm just going to click on it. This is what we call our benchmark selector. So as a default, we do the college system, so that's all programs, all colleges within our data view. We also have the option to have our benchmark as a cluster. We have different clusters here, and the clusters are selected based on the programs we have, as well as division. So most of our applied arts, we have 1 health and 1 business. So we're going to stick with the system benchmark, which is all colleges, all programs, just because we like that one. If we go down to here, this is the data view, so this is the kind of data groupings that we have. Nothing shows up until you select one. The default is summary indicators. And then we also have on number 3 graph view or table view. My preference is graph view. Some people prefer table view. That's not also an option. We'll go with graph view today. And then once we're ready, press view selected. So this is where the actual data is kind of coming forward to us. The first thing we have here is employment rate. And that is the employment rate of graduates who are employed in the labor force or graduates who are in the labor force unemployed. So it looks like for these programs, it's pretty high, it's pretty good. Our purple program, whatever it is, had a little bit of a dip in the beginning, but it's gone up to match the others. If we hover over the data points at any point in time, because you can see we have a 5-year window, you'll be able to see the actual data. So if you just hover over a data point for a minute. So that shows you, again, like a little portable legend. These are the programs that you selected. That's what their rate ranges are. So they all seem to be good. Next one we have is graduate satisfaction. Animation item, but here we have it for 3 years. Graduation rate, with the exception of applied degrees, is within 200% of typical program duration. So for a one-year program, they have 2 years to graduate. For a 2-year program, they have 4 years to graduate. And then for a degree program, so a 4-year program, they have 7 years to graduate, which is 175%. That's just to be consistent with university graduation rates. So next, general information. So this page is pretty useful, very useful when looking at the different data elements. It is showing you, first off, the total number of college graduates by program. You can see some programs are significantly larger than other programs, so you always want to keep that in mind when you're looking at the data elements. Sometimes the information can seem a little bit skewed because of the larger or smaller sample size. So it can mean you'll see a lot more variation within the responses year over year. Student satisfaction respondents, that's the number we have of those. Graduate response rate, that'll show you over the number of graduates, the number of graduates responding to the graduate outcome survey. And then this bottom item here, which I find very, very useful, is it's going to show you what local college programs are feeding into this data. So for example, for the broadcasting program that we're looking at, these are the colleges that are included in our analysis. This is their local program name, and that's exactly what was included. If we scroll to the bottom, we'll see that one of them was missing. And that could just mean that the count was less than 6, which we don't include for confidentiality. We'll go to the top. And we'll go to general employment results. So the first thing we have here is the labor force participation rate. That is people who are either employed, looking for work, and unemployed, and who are not studying full-time. It looks like from our program it's quite high. The other ones seem to be pretty much the same. Purple, also very similar, one little drop in 2011-12. Unemployment rate, we like to be very low, which it is. It's pretty low here. We also provide here the Statistics Canada unemployment rate for youth, which is ages 15 to 24 to comparison. And that is the system, very similar. Some of our programs are substantially less than the average. That can be a good thing. And then we go down and have the employment rate, which is the opposite of the unemployment rate, employed graduates over the labor force. And then underneath here we have a new level of more defining. This is employment rate for full-time work. You notice it goes down a little bit. And then we have employment rate full-time work in a related or partially related field, and related being to their program of study. So it looks like for some programs it's pretty stable, and again, in this program, a little bit of a change might be indicative of a small count or a large count in the other programs. On the top, my favorite one, annual earnings. This gives us a sense of the average annual earnings for students of these programs, or graduates of these programs rather. The first one we have is for those working full-time. So if we hover over, you can see they're about in the 25 to 35,000 range over the years, and they're pretty consistent, which is pretty comforting, I'm sure. And then we also have average annual earnings, full-time related or partially related, at least about, let's see, a little bit higher. We'll go to the next page. We'll go to part-time employment results just very quickly. So here we have the same, So here again we have the employment rate, but looking at those who are working part-time. If we scroll down, we'll see the reasons in this most recent year, so 2015 14, 15 reporting year of why graduates worked part-time. For the most part, it looks like labor market pressures was reported, and that's an aggregation of a couple different statements. There's also personal reasons, studies, other reasons, and some undisclosed. And then looking more specifically at the labor market pressures as a reason for working part-time, we look at over 5 years to see if there's any kind of trends, changes, and this green list has had a pretty significant drop. Yeah, it seems to be consistent. Go to the top. And we'll go to top occupations found by graduates again. That's the one we looked at before. I just want to show you something that we kind of skipped over at the time. And that's our additional links that we provide. Once it loads. So if we go down to see the program of sports journalism, let's open up authors and writers. So here we have two additional links that are provided, OGF and OSP. OGF is Ontario Job Futures, and OSP is Ontario Skills Passport, and it's going to bring us back to the question we had earlier about working out what kind of skills are required for or demanded in a certain kind of job. So let's open up the OGF first, authors and writers. It's going to give you a little warning saying you're leaving our page. So Ontario Job Futures is taking labor market information and taking analysis in order to assess some different elements of the future of that field. Here it looks like the prospects are average, and they were average previous year, so we'll have some additional details within these links. And these links are always context dependent, so it depends on what program you're looking at, bring you to a certain page within OJF. So because we press authors and writers, we're on the writers page of OJF.
What is OJF stand for?
Ontario Job Futures. It's an Ontario, yeah, it's part of the Ontario government. So we'll go back to the employment profile. And the next thing we're going to look at is OSP, which is Ontario Skills Passport. Again, for authors and writers. So what this does is an occupational profile, and it takes different skills that are expected or that are used in these different fields, and kind of gives you an idea of what levels are required or levels that are preferred, maybe. So that's another tool to kind of see, if I was a student using the employment profile to see a job, what kind of skills might be expected, what I might want to include on a resume, some different tools for that. So go back to the employment profile. Unless you have something you want to say about it?
No, I was just thinking this would, I think this would be where we would try and join the information that the kids are collecting. I'm not quite sure how we would join it, but this is probably where we plug in. Sorry.
No, that's
Question?
let's open the data view, and so we did this for top occupations found by graduates. Again, like we talked about before, this is also available for industries. Something I want to point out is that, so here we are top occupations found by graduates, but we also have this link with the filter of full-time related or partially related. So if you wanted to find out what jobs or industries someone who took a program ended up in and what percentage, you go here. So let's just open that one for fun. So again, it looks the same. The difference here is that we filtered for people who ended up in a full-time related job with related partially related job with the field. So 69% of people in fitness management ended up as program leaders, instructors, recreation, sport, and fitness. So that's another level of, not level of aggregation, but another filter you can provide to see what you want to see. So let's go to the top in the data view. And let's go to transitions after graduation. So here we're trying to find out, other than employment, what are the graduates up to? We already seen the labor force participation rate. So we're going to see now the graduates who are not in the labor force. And that would be they're not looking for work, they're not employed. And that's up there. You can see in one program you have 0%, in others you have a little bit. There are some graduates there. If we scroll down, you can see the reasons for not being in the labor force, and that's for the most recent year. Looks like for the most part it's because they're studying full-time, and there's some other reasons that are not nearly as significant. And this looks over a 5-year period. And something that we get a lot of interest in is people who are studying full-time, or graduates who are studying full-time, where do they end up going? We have the blue program, it looks like the majority go to college. If we look at the purple program, the majority end up in university. So sometimes it's interesting to see the kind of switches, the college system in general. So when you go to the benchmark, we have all programs, all colleges, the majority go back to college, some go to university. Some of the difference you can see in this could be because it's a bridging program, a collaborative program. Maybe there's an option to upgrade a diploma, that kind of thing. So that can help explain for some programs why there's such a concentration in one area. It might be encouraged or part of a larger program that's there. Go back to the top. And the last section we have to show on the actual tool is outcomes by gender. That can be very interesting to look at with some of the results. And what this does, it kind of takes some of the key outcomes that we have, it takes a look at them, male versus female, just to get an idea of if there's any differences. Some programs, like engineering, there's quite a bit of a difference. These ones appear to be, well, if you look at the blue program, there's quite a bit more females than males within the program of graduates. And then the purple program we have appears more males than females. So we go down. We have the labor force participation rate, very similar. There's some years missing of data in purple for females, that just might mean it's an account. Employment rate, again, pretty similar, male-female. Average annual earnings, pretty similar, minus 1 year, 2013-14 looks like males need a little bit more. Again, that could be for a number of reasons, including a small town and someone just making a lot of money. So go to the next page. I guess we'll go to the next page. So that's the core of the tool itself. We have some additional, oh actually, I'm going to show you before. So now that I've looked at these programs, I think I want to apply to one of them. I want to apply to broadcasting, television. So I'm going to go to interested in applying. So here, broadcasting television is on the top. After looking at all these programs, I'm really interested in the television component of it. So I'm going to click television. And what this is going to do is going to bring me to OCAS, which is the Ontario College Application Service. It's the college's version of OUAC. And this is going to provide me information on local college programs that provide this, this program. It's going to tell me the opening dates, full-time, part-time, requirements for entry requirements, admission requirements. It's going to also link you to their websites if I like. We've also included tuition information and campus information. So it's a very useful tool if you want to see what more specifically is available in a more tangible way. So if we will go back to the top, we also have these links. So what we've been working from is Certified Program. That's the main site, that's the main tool. That's where you start off on the search page that we started with. There's also a provincial summary, which is for data, what we call data nerds. If you want to know like, the really details behind the data, how we kind of put it into the codes, gives them some naming conventions and that kind of thing. These are all Excel files that can be downloaded. We also have frequently asked questions. That'll give some information or some background information. All the useful links there. A bit. We also have a glossary which will get you some of the terms used, some of the different data elements, some more explanation. A lot of these definitions, actually, I apologize for not pointing out. If you saw the graph, there was always some text on the left of it. That kind of gave you an explanation of what the data was looking at, how was, what it's looking at more specifically, like for a rate, what is the denominator and the numerator. And then we also have search by high-level groupings. which is a lot like the tool we just used, except for you have some more freedom in what you're able to compare. So if you wanted to, you could compare division cluster. So let's say you want to compare applied arts to area open health, or maybe you want to search by regional college. So maybe I live in the north, and I want to make some comparisons between, or some analysis on these colleges. So there's different flexibilities that you can do here, other than the program level. And it's very similar to the tool, but it has a little bit less items, but overall it's very similar. So that is the tool we have. We always get a lot of questions of, this is a college-focused web tool. Universities do post their KPI, their key performance indicators as well. We have bookmarks for both the employment profile, which is the college tool, and the university KPI here. They're purple or green. They do post information. They don't post the same detail or level of information that we provide, but there is some information available there if anyone's interested. The link is available. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them now. We've also provided our business cards here if you want to kind of get in touch with us afterwards. If you have any comments, suggestions, we're pretty open, so that's all we have. If there are any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
I have a question for you. What was the tool? What was the thing that you said the kids are keeping track of their?
It's done in their career planning. I don't know which specific, but I don't know
It's
which.
relatively new. I think it's a blueprint. Is that one?
Yeah, I think that would be it.
Yeah, I think it is that.
Okay.
And
Well, ask
it
it.
might be
I'll
that
ask
one,
her
yeah.
call.
Yeah, because it is identifying key skills for the kids.
Yes.
And then if that, then armed with that, they can go and,
Okay.
because like my concern is, like I said, you know, it's so broad, like let's say, you know, like they're identified as being a people person, for example. Like some of these groupings, like, you have to have a pretty fine-tuned idea as to what they're looking for.
Comments? Questions?
So this website is mostly for the college or for college and the university?
This is entirely for college, the employment profiles for colleges, but the website here you
This
have,
is
that's for
for
universities.
universities.
They don't have the same tool, they have some key performance indicators. So they have graduation rate, they have employment rate, OSAP default rate. They don't have as much information, but they do have some information that can be used for universities. Yeah.
The other thing is that the university system does not aggregate provincially by program type. But they don't have the same kind of granularity in their program information.
I believe they do by like nursing is one, engineering is one, very, very broad provincial level.
But, you know, that may change in the future.
In the future, they may be part of this tool, who knows?
Well, like you said, like a bunch of, what I think is so interesting is for the longest time, like university was seemed to be like the push, and that has gradually changed with OEF, and you know, kids are now looking at college as a more viable, hands-on alternative. And I just think it's funny that, you know, you have Sheridan, which was such a big college, and now they're slowly graduating over to university at a time when, you know, a lot of university graduates are going to college because it's more hands-on and they seem to be more employable in the specific, it narrows it. It's just very interesting, because like you said, even the data here is a bit more narrow than what you get when you're searching skill sets on college, university, and I think that's why a lot of university kids were going to college afterwards, just to narrow their speciality. Really.
Yeah.